Hi, it's Alistair at Electric Scotland. Um, this is maybe in two parts. I want to talk about the Scottish elections, basically, because they're going to the vote on the 6th of May. So they're all in promotion mode at the moment. One thing I found quite difficult actually was trying to find the people that were um, standing in the various parties, because it's not just the SNP, Labour, Conservative, Greens, Lib Dems. There's the new Alba party from Alex Salmon, and there's the All Alliance party from Galloway and so forth. But when you looked at the BBC the other night there, it was only the five main parties that were actually interviewed and were debating. And I just thought there was something wrong there. At least the two other parties which should have been there, which weren't. So I think that's a biased approach. I've put a link in my Scott News feed because I was searching all over to try and find out who the other parties were. And the best site I found was something like Fact Ferret or something like that anyway. And on their site, I managed to find all the various parties mentioned. So that's good. So certainly, I'll put a link in this week's newsletter to that particular link. So if you want to find out all the different parties that are standing, you'll get it there. The other thing I found as I was going through it all was I found an interview with the new Labour leader in Scotland. And I thought it was the most interesting interview, I have to say. And I might also say I think if I was in Scotland, I'd be inclined to vote Labour this time around. But he's actually standing against Nicola Sturgeon in her own constituency. And so I'll be very interested to see how he gets on there. Frankly, I think the Scottish people should give him a chance. He seems very, very sensible. He is a Muslim, he's Asian, so I mean, maybe that's not people you tend to vote for, but anyway, I just thought I'd bring that to your attention. That it was I'll put a link in the newsletter to the interview with him, and if you want to watch it, you can. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is the EU, because it suddenly occurred to me last night. I was trying to get off to sleep. I was thinking about the EU, and it's funny. As I've been using the Express quite a bit recently, because they get a ton of information on goings on in the EU, and it suddenly occurred to me that I don't remember really reading anything about the EU in the Scottish press. And so today I spent some time going through the various newspapers in Scotland. And to be perfectly frank, there's almost nothing about the EU. Whereas if you go to the Express, there's tons of information about what's going on in the EU. And I think that's a problem for Scotland, because Scotland, I mean, the SNP, they want independence, but they want to join the EU. And I'll be honest with you, joining the EU means you're not an independent country. In fact, you're going to be worse off under the EU than you are in the UK, because at least in the UK you represent 10%, but in the EU you'll only be a 1%. I mean, you'll have can't put no pressure on anyone in the EU. And frankly, the stuff I've been reading about the EU is horrible. I mean, they've got vaccine chaos there. Everyone's blaming everyone else. In fact, it looks like Macron's in danger. Well, it's not going to be till next year before the French elections come out, but right now he's losing in the polls to Marine Le Pen, who's on the right wing. But Macron's taken a whole dubbing on the press anyway, as far as I can see. And also Angela Merkel of Germany, I mean, she's just lost the whole plot. I mean, in the last elections Germany had, she's lost the whole pile of seats. and it looks like the next election she's going to lose a whole pile more. She's leaving politics, and frankly, I think she's probably wise to do it because she would lose the next election for sure. And there's another six countries in the EU which are looking to get their own exits from the EU. So, I mean, when you look at the total mess that the EU is in and all the messages coming out of it, I wouldn't want to be a member of the EU, that's for sure. So I think good on Britain for doing Brexit. And I keep seeing Liz Truss just keeps doing more and more free trade deals. In fact, what I've been reading recently is showing that Liz Truss is now considered to be the top choice for the next leader of the Conservative Party. She's doing that well. I mean, they're saying yet again, Liz Truss does the work. So I just wanted to highlight that because if you want to look at the free trade deals that Liz Truss has been doing, you can Google it and get information about that. But also, if you just have a look at the Express site, I mean, that's the best place to go if you want to get all the gossip about the EU and what's going on there. Just amazing what they're covering. And the fact that the Scottish press isn't covering anything, I think that's damaging to Scotland. And once again, I'm going to call the Scottish press to account. Basically, they're hopeless. I mean, if they're so passionate about independence, they should be passionate about the EU as well. Why are they not even talking about the EU? You know, it just makes no sense whatsoever, I'm sorry to say. However, that's what you get for being in Scotland, unfortunately, right now. Too many Scots are really a bit stupid when it comes to the independence in the EU situation. I say, how you can be an independent country in the EU is beyond me. Luckily, there's a lot of SNP supporters which don't want to be in the EU and want to have a pure independent Scotland. And I can assure you that being independent, being in the EU, is no independence at all. But as I say, well, we'll see. We'll see how things go. But as I say, I'm trying to decide what to do on the election front. As I say, I of all the leaders, I've been most impressed with this, the Labour leader. So maybe you should have a wee look at his interview and see what you think. But he seems much more cooperative, basically. I mean, he wants to get away from the argy-bargy that's going on in Scotland. He wants to bring people together more. And I think, I mean, he's been through all the referendum stuff and Labour down to just one seat. And he's lost personally out of all that, but he said he's learned a lot from that. And I think he has, from the way he's talking. So anyway, he seems to be about the most sensible person. I don't know whether his Labour cohorts are as good, but certainly he looks pretty good. And I'd love to see him beating Nicola Sturgeon in her constituency. That would be really great. But as I say, Nicola Sturgeon goes on and she's doing her usual political bit, spending taxpayers' money. You know, 4% rise in NHS. She's going to double this and double that, all at the expense of the English taxpayers. No wonder the English are getting fed up. But I think that's another part of her remit, is to get the English so fed up that they insist Scotland leaves. You know, so if she can't get the Scottish people to vote to leave, maybe she get the English to kick Scotland out, which would have the same effect, basically. But I think she's on dangerous grounds there, to be honest. Anyway, there you go. I just thought I'd bring you up to date. So, as I say, in the newsletter, which will go out tomorrow night, you'll get a link to the Ferret, where you can learn all about all the political parties in Scotland that are actually running. And as I say, I'll give you the link to the Labour leader's interview, which I think you might also find interesting. And as always, I will bring you some news from the EU, because if the Scottish journalists can't do it, I can do it. So there you go. Okay, well, anyway, nice talking to you again. And next time round, we'll maybe get on to some more history. and tell you what's more happening on the site. Okay, anyway, great talking to you. Take care.